Hello Gumshoes, this is Sensei Starman and welcome back to my Let's Play of the Killing Moon Rising Day 1 Alpha Test playthrough. For those of you who missed Episode 1, why the heck are you watching this one? But this is me playing through an alpha test of the new Tex Murphy Under a Killing Moon 4K restoration. They're still working on this one, but it's not too late as I record this to go and get a copy on Kickstarter, late contribution. And if you go back to my Chapter 1 of this playthrough, you'll find links to all of my playthroughs for the original series, and links to where you can buy the entire series for less than $20 on Good Old Games through the end of July. Jump on that one, kids, you won't miss it. Anyway, last time, I showed off a little bit of the interface walking around the office and the opening movies. Most of the videos for Act 1 are still placeholder videos, but we did get a chance to see some of the upscaled video talking with Chelsea, the local newsstand runner, who is not looking very animated at the moment because she and some of the other people in the environment are just cardboard cutouts. They will be fully animated when the final game is released. But before we go back to finish checking around our office, let's take a quick look around the neighborhood of Chandler Avenue.
These garbage cans seem to be in good shape. Too bad nobody uses them.
Yeah, we can see Ardo, that's the manager slash bellboy at the Golden Gate Hotel down the street. Peace sign, kill.
Rusty the Clown's novelty shop. Closed down a few months ago after Rusty mysteriously disappeared. The police suspect foul play, but I think he probably just choked to death on his own bad jokes.
Yep. Gags, jokes, balloons game, Rusty's Fun Masks.
Rusty the Clown's novelty shop. Closed down a few months ago after Rusty mysteriously disappeared. The police suspect... I like to stand by these, waiting for a glimpse of Rita.
Rita the meter maid.
All hell has broken loose since the government stopped requiring products to display those give a hoot, don't pollute symbols.
Yeah. Get the same comment on a lot of the items in the environment.
On the top floor of this place is where I hang my hat. It's not much, but it's better than... well, it's not much. My trusty 31 lightning bolt speeder. I still regret not getting the sunroof option. On the top floor of this place is where I hang my hat. It's not much, but it's better than... well, it's not much. That great old landmark, the Coit Tower, rises high above the skyline. The streetlights here work about half the time, and that's usually during the day. The Bijou Theater used to be quite a night spot. It was condemned years ago and could collapse any day. There's no way I'm going in there.
Luckily, we don't need to go in there, but here's a nice little touch for the update.
The most interesting thing about these movie posters is that someone hasn't stolen them yet.
A lot of yeah, I was about to say gay. Seeing that on the poster there, Paris gay and luring. A lot of great classic movie posters here.
The most interesting thing about these movie posters is that someone hasn't stolen them yet.
Same comments on all of them, but, got a Mickey Rooney, Lewis Stone, Cole Brothers Circus. When worlds collide, said George Powell to his bride, I'm going to give you some terrible thrills. And, of course, the Blue Dahlia, because this is too clean a game to cover the Black Dahlia. And we can, oddly enough, not look at the Wiener stand over there.
These signs around here haven't been replaced in at least 50 years.
And
this scenic trail which leads up to Coit Tower is known locally as the Path of Death.
Ooh, the Path of Death.
These fire hydrants are commonly used by the locals to mark territory in front of their respective business establishments. I heard this newspaper box got destroyed right after Chelsea opened her newsstand. Coincidence? The Golden Gate Hotel was once known as the Waldorf of the Pacific. Its halls are still sturdy, and the walls have worn well, but there's nobody living inside. The Acme warehouse is the former Snow White dry cleaning building. Nobody's used this place in a while. All hell has broken loose since the government stopped requiring products to display those give a hoot, don't pollute symbols.
Yeah, I thought there'd be something unique for the dumpster.
The ruins of old San Francisco make for a bleak landscape.
Although they have preserved one oddity from the original, at least for the alpha. No matter what angle we look at Chelsea, she's always facing us. It's kind of worrying.
Rook Garner runs this pawn shop. He's a crusty old World War III vet with a face like a raisin and a tongue like a butcher's cleaver.
And we can see Rook himself through that window there.
This is the brand new electronic shop outlet. No pun intended. I won't be able to get inside the electronic shop until I get a membership card.
Well, and until they have their grand opening tomorrow, which is funny because if you remember the opening video, it said that the Colonel visited us on a Saturday, and it was, start of the business day. So presuming that today is the same day, it's still Saturday, which means that the grand opening is Sunday.
Ah, the once majestic Chandler Avenue. There's enough radiation in this asphalt to fry an egg on Christmas morning. These posters somehow survived the big war. They're bitter reminders of the past glory of this great city.
And again, got some nice artwork here.
Louie Laments runs the Brew and Stew, which is a local hangout.
And we can see Louie through the window. Although, much like Rook, he appears to be a 3D model. And this was on the list of notes in the alpha, which, just for the sake of, just clicked over the list here, I did have a list of the notes of things that were missing for the alpha, which is that some parts of the intro are still placeholders, the Sylvia cheating scene is a placeholder, pretty much most of the videos in this are still original videos that haven't been upscaled yet, but everything with Chelsea was upscaled, as I'm sure you noticed. The hint system and the point system are both still missing. One thing that made Access revolutionary back in the day is that since this was pre-internet and before you could just pull up a guide to tell you how to get past that one puzzle you couldn't get through, Access actually programmed a hint system into the game so that if you got stuck on a puzzle, you could just click through and get a few clues as to what you need to be doing. You lost points off of your total for doing it, but it was a nice option to have there. And the only other things worth noting about what's missing in the alpha is that, the 3D characters aren't animated, the ones that are there. The point system missing along with that. And they do have subtitles missing from some of the videos, which I noted before, but, the environment itself is pretty much...
Some of this devastation came from the Barney the Dinosaur Museum. No one was too upset when it became one of the first structures to get blasted in the war. Everyone refers to this stuff as Barney rubble. This is where Louie throws out the garbage. Street people come from miles around to sample Louie's award-winning leftovers.
So yeah, much more detailed rubble than in the original, and again, nice little lightning flash there.
Francesca Lucido makes the spiciest pizza in the city. The only thing spicier than her cooking is her imagination. And this is the spot where Dr. Moulong had his dentist's office. Everyone around here calls it Toothbrush Hill.
Nice.
Francesca Lucido makes the spiciest pizza in the city. The only thing spicier than her cooking is her imagination. And right now she seems to have a thing for me.
And we can see Francesca through the window here. Like Chelsea, she is still just a cardboard cutout. But the only thing of interest on the street for us along Chandler Avenue right now is this.
Well, this is a section of the Bay City Mirror. It's a weekly newsletter that covers local goings-on written by mutants for mutants. I'd subscribe if they had a comics page.
And we can go ahead and take a look at the paper. Now, the original game did let you click on so yeah, the very back has a llama lights. You know, for those of you who do not remember Camel cigarettes, you know, I'd walk a mile for a camel, I'd walk a kilometer for a llama. But the original one, you could just zoom in on the story, or click on the stories to zoom in. So we've got, you know, an ad for Old Jim's Bait Shop, live crawlers, and an old coffee can of your choice. Body found in Bay. The body of Faneuil Murray, 29, was discovered floating in San Francisco Bay earlier yesterday morning, spotted by passengers on a whale sighting scuttle. The body was recovered by police and sent to the coroner's office for an autopsy. The cause of death has been listed as suicide, though bystanders reported that the corpse was remarkably disfigured and contorted. Walt Grimm, a personal injury lawyer, followed the ambulance to the coroner's and reported that a quarantine was initiated not long afterward. The reason for the quarantine has not been made public. And then burglaries baffle police. The total of inner-city pawnshop burglaries committed over the past 3 weeks now stands at 9. Zippy cash located at the corner of Jackson and Maple Streets was broken into 3 nights ago. Pawnshop owner Urban Roby did not report the crime until this morning, thinking it was simply a practical joke played by his friends. Tragically, this was not the case. Of the 9 burglarized pawn shops, Zippy Cash was the second one not owned by a mutant. There has been some speculation that the police are not actively investigating the crime since most of the victims are mutants. Mayor Linder, who is up for re-election this year and has needed the mutant vote to retain his position, has publicly called the police onto the carpet. Police Lieutenant Mac Malden, who is heading the investigation, denies that the police are dragging their feet. What we're dealing with here is some kind of master criminal. He just hasn't left us much of anything to work with. Lieutenant Malden assured that the burglars have all been committed by the same person. The MOs, methods of operation, have been almost identical. A girl goes to a pawn shop, hawks a piece of jewelry for a large amount of cash, and then the shop is broken into that same night. Lieutenant Malden would not specify, but said that his team of detectives had some evidence and hoped to have some solid leads within the next few days. We've also got Poet's Corner. This week's poem was sent in by 15-year-old Bappo Wong. Haiku to a taco. Soft shell taco mine. What meat art thou concealing? Who cares? It's tasty. Need cash? Organ Trail Clinic. We will pay up to $50 cash for any and all vital organs. We also pay market rates for arms, legs, eyeballs. Are you a lefty who's short on rent? Bring in that right arm. Our friendly qualified staff will be happy to sever that limb and you'll walk out moments later with a few extra dollars in your pocket. Hurry in and don't forget to ask about our frequent donor program. And very blurry there, but must be, you know, something on site to meet the AMA requirements. And then, Senator committed to an asylum. Reese Press's conference hysterics surprised many. Senator Martin Reese, Republican of New Mexico, who'd called a press conference, assumedly to announce his intentions to leave politics to pursue the PGA, erupted into hysterics today. Witnesses reported the senator to a shout, "Texas is just too big. Run for your lives before it eats us all." Senator Reese, long considered one of the most mentally sound figures on Capitol Hill, had to be restrained and led away in a makeshift straitjacket. When questioned about Senator Reese's rantings, Representative Luana Elwich, Democratic Texas, professed complete ignorance. Everybody knows Texas is big, but really. Most people who witnessed the display admitted to being surprised at the senator's behavior, though not everyone. House Speaker Bob Bioge, Democrat Maine, commented, "Senator Reese's outburst is hardly shocking to those of us who have worked with him. We all knew he was a whacked-out, thumb-sucking piece of..." Senator Reese will be examined tomorrow by psychiatrists who are confident that a complete recovery can be made despite the senator's many years in Congress. There's an editorial, "Why the Crusade Must Be Stopped," by Louie Trundle. In the years since World War III, we've seen a growing form of discrimination which has come into full malevolent bloom. Thankfully, we're not talking about racial or sexual bias, both of which are no longer the blights on society they once were. The social disease that afflicts us now is genetic discrimination. There are, in this world, evil forces that exist with the specific purpose of separating the genetically unchallenged from the rest of the population. This eugenics movement, the classifying of humans by their genetic quality, has been around since the late 1800s, but in those days humans were already classified by their skin color and gender. Several significant movements in history have attempted to exterminate an entire race, and I believe we are witnessing yet another. The crusade for genetic purity is spearheading this dark movement. Reverend Shepard, in the guise of a placid, benevolent teacher, is in reality a hate-monger. His words, softly spoken, plant the seeds of hate between those with genetic flaws and those without. And now the crusade has trumpeted the arrival of the Moonchild, their so-called refuge of the pure, supposedly a religious retreat where the faithful crusade go to take part in spiritual ceremonies. It is in reality a symbol of divisiveness, a jewel in the heavens where only a few may go, the rest excluded by a condition they did not ask for and cannot change. When will each and every inhabitant of this earth open his or her eyes? I hope for the day that we will all be able to look upon each other as human beings and not as man or woman, black or white, mutant or norm. To paraphrase Shakespeare, I am a mutant. Hath not a mutant hands, organs, dimensions, senses, affections, passions? Fed with the same food, hurt with the same weapons, do we not... If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you poison us, do we not die? Heavy stuff, and unfortunately relevant 30 years after this game was made. Art and Soul. Art is not just dead in the Bay Area, its rotting corpse is sneaking up the place. The latest excuse for an art exhibit was unveiled at the Inks and Oils Emporium, or should I say the Stinks and Spoils Emporium, as I want to call it. This pathetic showing by an alleged artist who calls himself Logo was the most hideous spectacle of the season. At least this Logo character has an inkling of intelligence. If I dared to pass off such putrid trash as art, I wouldn't use my real name either. The most striking thing about the presentation was the artist's hairdo, which closely resembled a dust mop used to soak up an oil spill and then dried to a crisp under a sun lamp. On the lighter side, Kate Winfrom's black tie art appreciation fundraiser was not nearly as unbearable as I feared it would be. The featured artwork, as always, was despicable, but for once the hors d'oeuvres didn't make me vomit. The champagne was not vintage, but not the cat pee of previous years. All in all, not a complete waste of an evening. Until next week, just remember, life without art is just life. And then we got police officers acquitted in assault and civil suit. Angry protests were staged yesterday outside the 5th Precinct Courthouse when two Norm police officers, Joey Harris and Dean Adler, both incidentally members of the Crusade for Genetic Purity, were found not guilty of assault and battering on a private citizen, Emo Dooley, an unemployed homeless mutant who brought a civil suit against the officers saying they had randomly picked him out of a group of stragglers and beat him senseless. This is the fourth civil suit brought against Norm members of the SFPD this year alone. Each trial is in an acquittal. Undoubtedly, this has given police an added sense of immunity, leading to more mutant violations of civil rights, more mutant accusations of civil rights violations. The two-mutant 10-norm jury deliberated for only 3 minutes and 18 seconds before presenting the not guilty verdict. Juror Laney Fox explained the reason for the quick decision by the jury. The prosecution never convinced us that Mr. Dooley did not always look the way he did. The ACLU announced that it is already planning an appeal. And Grateful Dead tour. The Grateful Dead, you see the pictures of Officer Harris and Officer Adler there. The Grateful Dead, in its third incarnation, announced plans for a resurrection tour to begin next week in Sacramento, California, and end up in Lazarus, Pennsylvania. The tour is scheduled to run for 3 years, which during which the band will play 1,093 shows. Accordion player Geraldo Rodriguez says the band is excited to get back on the road after a layoff of a week and a half. We were due for the rest of our last world tour, but by Thursday we were all getting a little antsy. Future plans include a new album, a movie filmed on tour, and a possible benefit put on in conjunction with the Rolling Stones. See, they're joking about the Rolling Stones still being around in 2042, but I would not bet against Keith Richards. So, yeah, there's a little bit of plot important information here with the burglaries and a bit of background with the racial tension and the Crusade for Genetic Purity. Nice little bit of background information just lying in the street, but you do get points for looking at it. With that done, let's go ahead and swing back by the office, which we left our door wide open. And our background music just kicked in.
My phonograph's an old family heirloom. I love to play the classics, Kool and the Gang, Peaches and Herb. This pure mountain spring water is indispensable, literally. I'm out of paper cups.
Things look pretty slow on the street today.
Oh, great. Another incoming message that won't print out. If I don't get a new fax machine, I'll be out of business.
And yes, they've made jokes about Tex being a dinosaur because of the fax machine, even back in the 90s.
Nothing here but nostalgia. This cabinet is where my old successes go to die. Nothing here but nostalgia. Nothing here but nostalgia. I spent weeks earning this baby. Best 20 bucks I ever spent. This one really isn't art, it's a placemat from Taco Bob's. The UI of U was the only place that would accept me. Half the course credit was earned by locating the university. CrimeLink computer is the only valuable piece of equipment left in the office. By entering suspect information like height, weight, and hair color, I can access the suspect's personal files.
Yeah, we will get a chance to use this more in-depth later. But what the heck kind of keyboard is this? A Dvorak?
I bought this table so I wouldn't have to sit on the floor when I use my computer.
Smart move.
That hutch holds a life's worth of knickknacks, paddywhacks, and the world's largest piece of elbow macaroni. Another pile of garbage. There just aren't enough hours in the day. That's a perfect bed for a destitute PI. Small, lightweight, no sheets required. Well, since the building inspector has only one eye and no depth perception, the hotel manager painted fire extinguishers in all the apartments. It saved him a bundle.
Yeah, I think I made a joke about that one last time. How, still flat. But the frame has texture.
I called this painting, The Big Spill. Great-great-grandpa Murphy made it through the Depression by teaching cha-cha lessons to rich older women. He made thousands before the authorities found out he had no formal training.
Now, one thing I just noticed is that the floor... I take it back. The original game, it did have the little dance steps traced out on the floor. It looks like that might have happened here, or that there are just dirty footprints here.
The office was actually a dance studio before I moved in. And Latin dancing is a Murphy family tradition.
Yeah, I think that should be darker and have more of them, but oh well.
The closet door.
We looked at this before, but...
All I've ever needed was a soft felt fedora, a well-tailored overcoat, and a comfy pair of sneakers. Some people know what they like, and they stay with it.
And we already got everything of use out of Tex's desk, but...
Most of these desk drawers haven't been used for so long, I'm afraid to open them. As usual, it's a mess. This here is my favorite desk drawer. You
do occasionally get some new comments on it.
I love my comfy chair. I just wish it wouldn't be so easy to tip over whenever I got drunk. My phone would work perfectly if it hadn't been disconnected. Toxic Taste is a novel by Louie Trundle, the only mutant popular enough to make the New York Times bestseller list.
Whose name we saw in the newspaper, but that is a completely different cover.
Hip-hop English keeps me up on all the slang kids are using today.
For the days before Urban Dictionary.
World War IV. A dark and reactionary vision of the coming century by Rush Limbaugh III.
Actually, Dr. Marek Leskiewicz. I don't know if they're going to change that because it was pointed out that former radio show host Rush Limbaugh actually was Rush Limbaugh III. Of course, he's dead now and nobody misses him, so who cares?
I love murder mysteries. To be a fictional detective. Everything would be so much simpler then.
Oh, what, like you remembered him up until I said his name just now?
Ah, the fabulous Dior lamp. I bought it for 77 cents.
And that's everything in Tex's office that we haven't looked at and didn't need to do something with now. I normally like to keep these videos just around half an hour, and coming down here re-triggered the walking around the neighborhood music. I think we got just enough time to talk to a few people around the neighborhood, so let's go check in with Louie to start. And here's another change from the original. Before, you couldn't actually go into any of the businesses and have a interactable environment. That is going to change with the new game. Hence why we do not have any written descriptions for stuff for text to look at. Presumably they will get Chris Jones to record these, but no commentary as such yet, but we do have the full diner all set up here. And we can see the back room lovingly recreated. And no description for Louie yet. The law prohibits the purchase of frozen brains from staff, sorry.
The brew and stew is run by Louie Lamintz, a bloated mutant with a heart bigger than his waistline. Everyone comes to Louie's cafe. So does all the street talk. If something's going on, Louie knows about it.
We've got king subs, coffee, the Chandler's cup, and note, warning, certain food and beverages sold or served here can expose you to chemicals including acrolein in many fried or baked goods, and mercury in fish, which is known in the state of California to cause cancer and birth defects or other reproductive harm. That was a Karn for a moment. Okay, well, I think we left out the opening video, but let's see. Suds and Hugs, Mr. Bend, Earbending, and Mr. Broke.
How about a pitcher of beer and the love of a good woman, Louie?
I can't help you with the woman, mate. Yeah, no problem with the beer, though. Put it on your tab.
Cynical observation, Norm Peterson, thirsty and grateful.
Thanks, Louie. I should have some work soon, then I'll be able to pay my tab off first thing.
That reminds me, mate. Have you talked to Rook today? He might have a job for you. Someone broke into his shop last night.
Appreciative, affirmative but ambiguous, and apathetic. Stick with appreciative. Louie's a good guy.
Thanks for the tip, Louie. I'll go see Rook right now.
Okay. Just pressing the wrong key there for a moment. And as long as we're chatting with everybody in the neighborhood, before we get to Rook, and we are getting the musical cues from talking to everybody, but wait, she's just a torso. She's been bisected. The burglar has turned to murder. Ye gods, why? Why? Oh no, yeah, we're going to replace that eventually.
Well, it's that handsome P.I. Tex Murphy. Have you come to take me away?
Ha ha ho ho hee hee.
How'd you guess? You must have seen my white horse hitched to the railing out front.
Oh my, Mr. Murphy, you certainly know how to excite a girl.
Sex appeal humor, get more formal, shatter the fantasy of a lonely woman. Yeah, let's keep it formal.
Well, that's very nice of you to say, Mrs. Lucido. But I'm here on business.
Oh, pooh. All the business and no pleasure makes even a private dick a dull boy. What do you want?
To remain a private dick.
Rook is a tough old geezer. I've known him ever since we opened the Slice of Heaven back in 32, but I can't say I know him very well. Chelsea is a nicer girl. Sal tries to flirt with her, but she doesn't give him the time of day. I like Louie. He runs a nice place, and I go over there and chat with him when the business is slow. Me and Sal got married too young, and it's been up and down ever since. I've had enough of his drinking and the womanizing, and I divorce him in a second, but he's got a couple of buddies who are top lawyers. If I had some hard evidence of his screwing around, I could divorce him and get a decent settlement. Ardo is an overgrown kid. He comes in here for the all-you-can-eat buffet, and I've got to kick him out every time. If I didn't, he'd eat everything we got. Can't help you, Tex.
Did I click on her name?
Well, I was hoping you'd get around to asking about me. I'm just a lonely, hot-blooded woman who needs the love of a good, strong man.
Well, I hope you find one. And can we see what's on the menu here? Let's see. Heavenly garlic knots, slice of heaven wings, angel mozzarella sticks, the heavenly margarita, the slice of heaven supreme, the celestial veggie delight, the divine meat lovers, the heavenly Hawaiian dream, the angel's barbecue chicken. There's gourmet pizzas, the seraphim's white pizza, the slice of heaven truffle mushroom, the Elysian pepperoni hot honey, and also the holy calzone and the heavenly stromboli. What, no spaghetti? And I'm just leaving the doors open all around the place. I can at least close everything, but check this out. Yes, Tex has telekinetic powers. I opened and closed the doors from this across the street. But wait, watch this. I'm going to do it. Okay, well, I apparently cannot do this one from the street.
That rickety fire escape leads back to my office.
Ah, but here. Alright, won't let the rain in, and hey, there's that killing moon. Well, we got time to talk to one more of the neighbors, really quick, before we get to business with Rook, and give him the business.
The Golden Gate Hotel was once known as the Waldorf of the Pacific.
Oh.
Its halls are still sturdy, and the walls have worn well. But there's nobody living inside.
And we can see Ardo from here. And again, nice fully exploitable foyer. And from the look of it, we will be able to explore the whole front part of this. Spoiler, a later chapter will have us going to a different floor of the hotel. And yeah, the arms look a little short, but yeah, that is in fact... Ardo is played by Aaron Connors, the scriptwriter of this game and the author of all of the Tex Murphy novels.
Ardo Newpop is a gigantic goon who works at the front desk at the Golden Gate Motel. Ardo's no rocket scientist. In fact, he probably doesn't even know what a rocket scientist is.
Alright, boob tube hobnobbing.
Anything good on the tube today?
Uh-huh. I'm watching the Captain Wallaby show, and he's so funny.
Captain Wallaby being a take on Captain Kangaroo, presumably. Rude personal opinion, show some interest. Let's keep polite. We don't want to offend the big giant guy.
Captain Wallaby, your favorite show?
It's my third favorite show. My favorite is the Inspector Burns Fire Safety Show.
Name-dropping fib, make conversation, disagreeable response.
You know, Ardo, Inspector Burns and I are really good friends.
You are? Wow! I'd do anything to meet Inspector Burns.
Lie shamelessly, sarcastic change of subject, patronizing manipulation. I think we all know where this is going.
Yeah, old Burnsy's the best. You know, we always play a little game called 20 Questions. You want to play?
Okay. I can answer some questions, but first I have to put on my fire hat because Inspector Burns' fire safety show is going to be on pretty soon.
And we can start asking him some actual questions.
I went to his pawn shop because I thought he would have Inspector Burns action figures, but he didn't, and I got mad at him, so he probably don't like me. Oh, Chelsea is pretty cool, because she's got good magazines and stuff. That's where I bought my Inspector Burns fire safety manual. He's a nice guy, and I like to eat there because there's a TV. She's the lady who makes the best pizza. I eat at her pizza place all the time because I love it. I don't know what that is. I just want to be like my hero, Inspector Burns, because fire safety is very important.
This may be giving you some subtle clues as to how we will have to deal with Ardo later in the game.
I never heard nothing about that.
Alright. And we just fade away back to the street, presumably because, well...
I heard that Ardo shuts the place down every once in a while to do fire safety upgrades. Maybe he's painting fire extinguishers in all the rooms.
Okay, so that keeps us from going back and bothering him because we don't really need to question Ardo about anything relating to our case. And let's see if Chelsea has anything new to say about the case now that we're on the job. Well, actually, we aren't really on the job yet. We still need to talk to Rook. And this strikes me as a good place to stop for now, so having thoroughly explored the neighborhood, next time we will actually seek gainful employment. Well, thank you all for watching. I hope that those of you who have played the earlier Under a Killing Moon, or have watched my playthrough of it, or a playthrough of it, are enjoying this walk down memory lane and seeing how the new Killing Moon Rising update is changing everything up for the better. You know, not all the videos have been upscaled yet, but the ones that do look pretty spiffy, if I do say so myself. And next time, we will start getting back to the meat and potatoes of this game and all of the puzzles and the questions. So once again, thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment if you are so inclined. I'll have the links to where you can watch my earlier playthroughs and buy the games and the books in the description because, you know, I've updated the first one, we'll have all that, and I'm thinking every chapter should have this just because you never know which one of these might pop up randomly for people in the algorithm. But next time, we will continue with Rook's Pawn Shop and start doing some serious detective work. We'll see you next time.